everyone. Welcome into the Rockies Now podcast. This is a Colorado Rockies podcast. This is the Rockies recap episode for our unfortunate series sweep against the Cincinnati Reds at Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. Before we get started, in the pre-show meeting, Adam and I had a quick little, let's say, novelty discussion as far as Bud Black's lineups go over the past, particularly 2 games. I personally have some questionable thoughts about those, about who was in the lineup, who was out, who was batting, or who wasn't. So I just don't understand some of it, but I'll let Adam elaborate a little more.
Yes. Hi, welcome to the show, everyone. You're probably wondering why I'm on the podcast instead of Steven, but Tom, you know, Steven went 3 for 4 in our team softball game yesterday, so naturally we had to bench him. It's just, I'm at a loss for words sometimes with these lineups, Tom. You can't expect a young player to develop and build off of success when immediately after he has a successful day, you put him on the bench. And you put him on the bench for a veteran, which would make sense if that veteran was not Alan Trejo or Owen Miller. But I want to go to a Rockies game so bad and sit by the Rockies dugout and just say, hey, Bud, can I talk to you for a second? We're not here to watch Alan Trejo and Kyle Farmer and Nick Martini. We're not. Like, stop doing this. Let the kids play. I would probably get kicked out for doing something like that, but it might be worth it at this point.
Don't forget to include Owen Miller in that discussion too.
Yeah, my goodness.
You just real quick comment. You just reminded me of a White Sox game back in 2021 when the White Sox were contending and pushing toward the AL Central Division title. And I can't remember who the batter was. Somebody got on. It was not a very fast runner. And one of our bench players was outfielder Adam Engel, who was very fast, probably one of the fastest players in baseball. Mm-hmm. And some fan on the side that someone was recording this, a fan on the side, I said, hey, Tony La Russa was the manager. Hey, Tony, get Engel in there. Put an Engel, first base. And sure enough, about 2 seconds later, Adam Engel pops out of the dugout with his helmet on and runs and jogs over to first base. Now, Tony, after the game, denied, I didn't even hear the fan or whatever, but it's just a funny little note. Like if you ever get that opportunity, that'd be kind of cool to talk to Bud and kind of get in his ear and say, hey, listen, we're here to see so-and-so. We don't want to see this guy. Would you mind giving us what we're looking to see and what we think is best?
I mean, I would not want to do it within earshot of those players, obviously.
Right.
But I would, he doesn't understand the assignment, as kids would say. It's just painful to watch the lineups that he puts out. And I knew as soon as they traded for Trejo that he was going to be in the lineup today. I'm surprised he wasn't hitting third, to be honest with you, because that's just Bud Black style right there. It's just insane. Like, I know that there was a lefty on the hill, and you may not believe that Amador can hit better from the right side, but do we know that he can't hit better from the right side? Like, is there any statistical data at the major league level larger than a 50 at bat sample size that tells us that he can't hit against left-handed pitching?
Mm-mm.
Was there any statistical data that showed that Zach Veen couldn't hit off of left-handed pitching at the MLB level?
I will say this, though, when it comes, I remember this is something said by the great Pete Rose, who again was a switch hitter. His career numbers, if I remember correctly, he had a better batting average from the left side because, again, you see more righties than you do lefties, so you're going to be more consistent from that side. But he had better power because he's a natural righty, so he had better power numbers from the right side. Not saying he had more home runs, just per at bat, he had better power numbers per at bat than he did from the left side. So to your point, again, Amador is a natural righty. So I don't understand. Again, you will see fewer lefty pitchers than righties. So you'll bat more from the left side. But why not get him in there? I mean, from your natural side, he'll see the ball out of the left eye coming in a lot easier. So I don't know. That's just my opinion. I don't understand why you don't play him specifically. He's here. Tovar is out. The at-bats are available. Give the kid a shot. I mean, again, baseball is a game of failures, many as some of the old timers and older coaches will say, or even the newer coaches say the same thing. You're gonna struggle. What is it, 60% of the time? And if you're lucky, let's see the kid go through. Again, I don't want to call him a kid because he's a grown man. I hate saying that. Let's let the guy go through his at bats, go through struggles. He's going to have 0 for 4s. He's going to have 4 for 4s. He had a 3 for 4 in this series. Let him go through the good, recover from the bad, and just understand the daily routine of the stress at the big league level. That's the only way he's going to learn. To your point,
I have to say, Tom, and you could tell me if I'm wrong, and this
Sure.
might be hyperbole, but I
No, go
really don't think any other major league team would have benched their young prospect second baseman after going 3 for 4 and hitting a home run. I just don't I think that's just a Rocky thing. I don't understand what the thinking is behind that. But I don't see other teams do stuff like this. Like the Mariners called up Ben Williamson recently, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's playing third base every day, and he's been atrocious at the plate sometimes. Like, I just don't what are we doing, man?
I will say the White Sox, one of their top catching prospects, Edgar Carroll, is up right now with the team. One game in Boston, he went 2 for 4. Then he was out of the lineup the next day, but I think it was because he's a catcher. I think there was something wrong. They just wanted to give him an extra day off. But then he was in the lineup the next day, and he's been in the lineup for the next 3 games. So again, there's an example. But to your point, nothing comes to mind. I don't know why. I mean, you even elaborated in one of our pre-show meetings with the 3 of us. I think it was about 2 weeks ago. It's, you were nervous, you brought up your concerns, and you were right. And I'd love to understand what the logic is. Again, we're not privy to everything that's going behind the scenes. Maybe he has a sore foot. He can't run very well. I don't know. But to the point is, I don't understand it either. It really makes no sense. Especially, again, we talked about, he was the player of the game in game 2. He went 3 for 4.
Hit his first career home run.
True. Yes. And
then you benched him.
I mean, that's when his confidence is soaring sky high at that point.
Exactly.
Let him run with it.
I don't know if Dick Mumford ever listens to this podcast. If you give me a week to manage the team, I promise you I will do better than Bud Black. I can assure you of that.
Or I will say, let me also add to this. I think the lineups that you or I would think of would be maybe a little more logical or make more with common sense in terms of development. In terms of development, let me caveat that.
Yes, of course. Yeah, Trejo wouldn't start a game. Miller wouldn't start a game. And Stallings wouldn't start a game.
I would only have Miller in there maybe one day just to give maybe a getaway day or something like that, just to rest somebody, maybe, or something like that. That's the only way I'd play him.
Sure. But I think other major league teams would do the same thing. They would say, okay, these are bench players. We have young and up and coming players. We want to see what they can do. We want to develop them for the future. And to me, whether it's the fans in Bud Black or the front office in Bud Black, there's no alignment here. This dude has no idea that we're looking towards the future, or he just doesn't care. And we, the fans, are like, dude, we want to see Amador and Beck and Veen, all these guys every day. Tolia, Goodman, put Goodman at the catcher position. Like, I just don't. This whole playing veterans to try and win games, and we're still getting our butts kicked by a touchdown. What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, I understand to your point. You play the veterans over young guys if you're trying to win and push for a division title because every win counts. But we're not going to be doing that this year.
Unfortunately, no.
I mean, it's not going to make a difference. We're 4-21. What difference does it make?
Exactly. Throw in the towel with the veterans and play the kids. This is ridiculous.
Amador, and even when Tovar comes back, I'd still have Amador playing every single day at second base. Have those two as the pair up the middle. That could be your pair of the middle of the future.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing, too. The Rockies will send him down, right? They'll keep Trejo, and they'll claim, he has to do more to earn playing time up here and get regular at-bats. You didn't give him regular at-bats, so that's your fault.
Yeah, correct. It's like, But I don't know. If I was the GM, I'd be telling, it's just like that scene in Moneyball where Brad Pitt is sitting there with Philip Seymour Hoffman in his office, and he's saying, "I wanted so and so." He's like, "I want so and so this," and he goes, it was a match thing. I don't care about right and lefty. I want this guy playing." Or it's like when Jonah Hill says, "Where you go, Pena," and he goes, "I want Hattie at first." It's like that situation. I would go down to Bud's office. Amador, second now, please.
Every day.
Unless
he's 22 years old.
The only way he doesn't play in the lineup is if he's limping. That's the only way he doesn't play.
Yeah, I'm just
giving you an example. That's all.
Yeah, no, I get it. The frustration level is beyond boiling point at this point with Bud Black. After losing, we lost every game this week. Why does he have a job?
I mean, I'll give you, and again, as of course our fearless leader Stephen points out in the comments, benching young players ruins confidence. Exactly, we just commented, because right now with Amador, again, as you pointed, first home run, which was a pretty sizable hit. He got a hold of that one, and he went 3 for 4 and 1 in game 2. His
stole base.
Yeah, his confidence is sky high. Let the kid run with it. And I don't care if he goes 0 for 4 in game 3. That's a learning experience. You learn more from failure than you do from succeeding.
I don't care if any of these guys go 0 for 4 in a game. Mm-hmm. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
We've got Bouchard went 0 for 4. Miller went 0 for 2. And Trejo went 1 for 3. Farmer's come back to earth. He's 1 for 4. What difference does it make?
And I'll add one thing too. In the White Sox just currently finished a 10-game road trip. They were playing they're playing some veterans, so they're mostly playing young guys too as they come up. They've been competitive. That's the point. I think again, the Rockies, as you pointed out, they lost by a touchdown today. A little bit of a Chris Burn reference. They're down by a touchdown. Anyway, it's like but anyway, to the point is, the young guys are going to play their hearts out. They're going to give it their all. So maybe we may actually scratch out one. That could be the difference between winning and losing. I mean, Amador sprinted out of the box in that one bloop single that just rarely got through. He was still running just in case he had to beat out the play. Again, we sound like broken records here, but the point is we're both over frustrated. I think all three of us are on the same page. What are we doing here?
We're ruining the development of young kids. For a friend of the Monforts, get him out of here. Get somebody in here who has worked with these young kids and have him manage the team, because Mike Redmond and Clint Hurdle ain't it either.
I would the sad thing is, I think people they're gonna say, a lot of people, I mean, again, I'm just saying Bud Black is a well-respected guy. I'm not saying he's not a respected guy. So I think what they're doing is, we don't want to send him out like this. We don't want to just fire the guy. We want the guy to finish out his deal. So unfortunately, I don't know. It just seems like it's an unlikely conclusion that he'll get fired even before the All-Star break.
Yeah.
But it's unfortunately, it's sad because it's just, we both just don't, all three of us don't like how this is going.
No, well, respectfully, I couldn't care less how he goes out. Just get him out. Like, this is not okay. Like, losing is one thing, but then ruining the development of the younger players is another completely, because now we're not only this season is lost, right? But you're then losing the next season too, because you refuse to try and get these younger players at bats. And it just doesn't make any sense. It just makes it's Trejo, it's Miller, it's Farmer. These guys are, with all due respect, because they're Major League Baseball players, they are not good players. They are not players that you can just say, you know what? I can't put Amador in the lineup because, this is Kyle Farmer. No, dude. No. This is just crazy.
And plus, all to your point, not just about next season, maybe even future seasons, because what confidence does this instill in the young players in your organization who could be part of the future, but also the fans? We're your paying customers here. Come on.
Yeah, I can tell you, and I was at the game on Saturday, which was a really cool experience for the Dante Bichette thing. It was cool to see him there. But there were fans there that were like, we're not here to see Kyle Farmer. We're not here to see Owen Miller. We're not here to see, like all these guys. Because where they were looking at the roster before the game, like, who's Owen Miller? I'm not here for that. I've audibly heard a few people say Amador better be in the lineup tomorrow, because they know the same thing that we know. that he was just going to be benched because they traded for Trejo. And unless, Tom, they know that Tovar is going to go on the IL long term, that trade just doesn't make any sense. Otherwise, other than to just block Amador from playing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got to real quick to address the comment in the comment section. Cole says the Rockies need an ownership that cares about winning. We couldn't agree more. I don't, honestly, of course, we know about the comments Dick Monfort made during the offseason as far as the salary floor and ceiling. I don't know I don't know if his PR department obviously his PR department didn't brief him on that. Dick Monfort, first and foremost, there's a long list of plenty of rich people who will buy the team if it goes up for sale, and it gives Dick Monfort a price. I don't disagree. I'm not sure what Dick Monfort is up with. I don't know what his deal is, I just like Jerry Reinsdorf in Chicago, it's time to move on from the Monforts.
Yeah, it's just like the Broncos, right? They get new owners, and the owners come in and they do ownership things. And then they say, we're bringing in football people. They're going to handle the football operations. That is exactly what the Rockies need. They need someone to come in and say, yep, we're buying the team. We're going to supply you with the resources. We're going to give you everything that you need to succeed. But you are the baseball people, and you are going to make the baseball decisions. We need to get this circle of trust stuff out of here, man. Like, I get that Monfort has people that he trusts, and I'm sure he's a great friend. I'm sure he is, because he's loyal to a fault. But this is not working for baseball. It's just not ever going to work. You keep bringing back the Trejos, and you keep bringing back Clint Hurdle, and you bring back all these guys, and it's like, that's not what we want, dude. And I think that on some level, Monfort thinks that. He's like, oh, well, if I bring back this person or this person, it'll get the fans going or something. And it's like, at some point, you just have to hire a president of baseball operations so that somebody can complete some baseball operations around here and get an analytics department back in the Rockies organization. Like, there's so many issues that he just doesn't want to address, but McGregor Square's done, so I guess we're good.
I wouldn't go so far as, because if I was an owner, let's say I bought the Rockies, I would not only hire a president of baseball operations, I hire a president of the entire organization. And like you said, there are 30 control people in baseball, meaning 30 owners. They all meddle to some degree, some more, some less than others. If I was an owner, I would say, listen, I hire, as you pointed out, baseball people, you make the baseball decisions. That's what your job is. That's what I hired you for. There will be certain things you'd have to ask my approval for, such as a monster contract. We have to talk about that. But other than that, you guys that have authority to make the decisions, just get me rings. I want championships on my fingers. Because when I die, it's just like Joe, I don't know if you heard this a couple of years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. Joe Lacob, the owner of the Golden State Warriors, he was on a podcast and he said, my goal is to win as many championships as I can before I die. I want as many rings on my fingers as when I die. That should be the attitude of every owner. It's all about winning. This is a results-based business.
Yeah, well, and I don't know if Monfort understands this, and I'm sure I've said this before, and I'm sure somebody has said it to him before. If the Rockies were winning games, you would make more money. The more playoff games the Rockies make, the more money you make, the more people show up to the stadium. Like, how is this not computing? You know what I mean? And I think in this sport, Tom, more than any other sport, there is an epidemic with ownership and guys that just straight up do not care about winning. And it's not just the Rockies. It's the Rockies. It's the Pirates. It's the Marlins. It's the Mariners. It's the A's. Like, at some point, MLB, the White Sox, yes. At some point, MLB needs to be like, you know what? We're taking this team away from you because you're bad for the league. People are not showing up. You are not putting a product on the field that people want to see. Like, at what point can we start having this conversation? Because this is just ridiculous for fans of all these teams, including the Orioles too, I might add.
Yeah. let me just add two things, and I think we should real quick do the series of the recap anyway.
Oh
But
yeah, sorry.
no, it's okay. Hey,
Sorry.
we're both loyal fans. I would hope that again we're getting comments here in the comment section. We'll get to with the most recent one in just a second here, but. No, I mean, I actually been thinking about this. First of all, I like your comment. Winning cures all. Winning brings fans. It brings money because when the more winning you have, the dollars go up. I'll use the '90s Bulls. The Bulls were just financially doing phenomenal in the '90s because again, Michael Jordan, but they were winning so many championships. That's the thing. When you win, winning cures all your problems in terms of exactly. There's your dollar signs. You're putting up the dollar signs, of course, and I've been actually thinking about this with in regards to the White Sox because, as everyone knows, unfortunately, they had the worst season in modern day record in modern day baseball history last season, and this season makes me think there's got to be because it's malpractice to the game. It diminishes the aspect of competition. This is as I said, results based business, and I think if there comes a certain period of time where you literally are just losing so bad for so long ownership should be forced to sell because again it diminishes again competition, integrity of the game, and it damages the image of the league.
100%. And there's like 10 teams, dude,
Sure.
every year that they just don't care.
Especially when again, I'll use real quick the Pirates as an example. They got one of the best young pitchers in the game. Skeens is incredible. And you should be building a winner around that man. Great, and it's good to still have Andrew McCutchen because he's still, formidable at his age. But when you have, because again, somebody put out a graphic of great pitchers they've traded in several past years, and that includes Garrett Cole came up with the Pirates. They traded him. I think I'm trying to think of others. Tyone, Chris Archer. Granted, when he left Pittsburgh, he wasn't as good, but he was fantastic with Pittsburgh. And the list goes on. It's malpractice, in my opinion. It's you got to do something about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Manfred does a lot of things that are some people would agree are good. Some people think he's just terrible for the league. I think he does some good things for the league, but this is something that he has to address this. And I understand that it probably has to be something in like the what's the word I'm looking for? The collective bargaining agreement, which the owners would never agree to. But
in 2 years, that's what I was just saying. Yeah,
it has to be something that needs to be put on the table at some point. I wish so badly that I could save up money with 10 other people and just buy this team. Yes. Buy the team and give the fans what they deserve. Would we win every year? Of course not. No. Would I guarantee that, we would be able to sign players? Of course not. The reputation here in Colorado is terrible. Nobody wants to play here. But I would guarantee you that we would put together teams that would make sense for Coors Field, that would make sense for our fans, that would make sense for moving towards the future and trying to put a winner on the field. I don't understand why that's such a hard concept, like it is infuriating, man. Like we are loyal fans. We're with you guys. Like, and it's nothing to do with the players because they're not the one that puts themselves in the lineup, but we're going to games. We're buying the merchant. I just bought every single piece of the City Connect line, literally all of it. And the least you could do for me, man, is put the best product you possibly can on the field for me as a fan so that I will want to keep coming back. And we just get slapped in the face all the time as fans, and it's just infuriating.
No, I in good conscience could not do this at all. And now, in my opinion, if there's a year where some guys don't meet expectations and you end up with, let's say, a 79 win record, okay, that happens. You have bad years, you have tough years. It happens, granted.
Sure.
But it happens. But it's just right now, teams that are okay with, again, you're trying to work within the resources that you have, but just the fact that you want to purposely field a not as competitive team so you can do this cycles, especially when teams do it over and over again and don't figure it out how to sustain the success that you build. It makes it just awful in my opinion.
Yeah, and we'll get to the series here in a second. Sure, they didn't win a single game. They did not win a single game against the Reds. Against the Reds, who were not playing good baseball when they came here.
No, I mean, Ellie De La Cruz had an okay in his previous series. He had an awful start to the season, but it's just, again. So real quickly, some of the comments here, right here. Cole puts out another comment. We bring back all these guys, but get rid of guys like Nolan Jones and Story. Well, yeah, the story thing, first of all, the story thing, I hate that happened. Again, Steven, our fearless leader Steven, is a Trevor Story stan, as he likes to call it. And now again, I am mad that Story left. Nolan Jones, I can see why they did that, but it was kind of a head scratcher too in regards to what if you're trying to push things forward, because last I checked, he's doing okay. He had a tough start, but again, I don't disagree with you. It is, some trades are strange, especially considering we just got Tyler Freeman in turn, who I don't think is even playing right now. I think he's hurt. Is he hurt? Is he still hurt? I think
He's hurt.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
boy.
hurt.
Yeah, and then Rhino's comment: Monfort wants a salary cap when the CBA is up in 2 years. Correct. That's correct. Monfort did make that comment in the offseason. Again, he didn't word it specifically like that, but he kind of went into an unfortunate elaboration that did not put him in good light. So,
how about a salary floor, Dick?
Yeah.
How about a salary floor, dude?
Because again, just putting a salary cap on is not going to fix a competitive balance. It's not
going to fix anything.
No, it's just, I mean, the Dodgers, I guarantee you the Dodgers are going to find some loophole to get around it to allow them. Because again, that's what smart teams do. They find loopholes. They have legal teams that actually look through these things to try and find legal loopholes. Again, I'm not exonerating what the Astros did, but some teams try to find legal ways to improve their team. And if the Dodgers want to defer all that money, that's their prerogative. So, it is what it is. But
if the Rockies got caught cheating, Tom, I would celebrate, because it would mean that they were trying to win in some fashion.
That'd be a PR nightmare to get around for Dick Monfort's PR, for the Rockies PR team.
Maybe they need it.
We don't even get rewarded with the possibility of getting the first overall pick because of anti-tank.
That's correct.
Correct. It's, I mean, again, the White Sox aren't even going to get the first overall pick there, even though they had the worst record in Major League Baseball history last year. I mean, I like the institution of the lottery, but again, it also helps with trying to say, hey, but then again, number one pick doesn't always get you the best player.
True, but if they're going to make an anti-tanking rule, why would they not even consider taking teams away from owners that don't want to win? That seems pretty hypocritical, don't you think?
I'm not going to disagree with you on that one. I have no rebuttal or refute to that. Call it what it is.
Let's get to that Bud Black comment, huh?
Oh, sure. What?
Yeah, we've been talking about that the whole time.
Bryce, if you, I guess, if you joined late, we had in a little bit of a short segment at the beginning of this episode where we talked specifically about Bud Black, and Adam gave a nice, good, well thought out mini rant, I'll call it, about Bud Black's lineup. It's we don't disagree. It's time. It is time, but unfortunately, we're both skeptical about that they would do that. We would like to see them do that right now, move on, because he is obviously not, we think, is not doing his job properly when it comes to rebuilding this team and letting the kids play. Adam, I'll let you go more on that, and back to what we talked about earlier.
Well, it's just, and somebody else is talking about it here, making good decisions with the roster. Like, we can tell as fans the direction of the team is the future, right? So if guys like Stallings and Trejo and Owen Miller are getting at bats instead of guys like Goodman and Amador, what is the end? Like, what are we doing?
What's the end game? What's
the incentive for a young player to want to not only be drafted here and sign here out of the draft? Because remember, they don't have to sign with the Rockies if they get drafted. What is the incentive of guys like Doyle, and poor Tovar already signed his extension, but Doyle and Beck and Veen and Condon and Dollander? What is the incentive for these guys to want to stay here after arbitration? There is none right now. And this is just, you have to get a manager in here that will grow with the young guys. Okay, is it Warren Schaefer? If he's on, if it's him that's on the staff, put him in the spot. Okay, I can tell you right now, it's not Mike Redmond or Clint Hurdle, right? Is it one of the guys at the minor league levels? Possibly. Would I scoff at them hiring one of those guys? Absolutely not, because those guys are the ones that are helping these young guys develop. I have a huge, huge issue with the Rockies, and I talked about this earlier, but I know a lot of people have joined us since then, giving Zach Veen, 30 to 35 at bats and saying, well, sorry, you're not good enough. We're sending you back down. And also on top of that, and I could rant about this guy for days, I'm sorry. But on top of that, they didn't even play him every day. So like you're putting the onus on the player. Oh, sorry, you didn't produce enough. But also, sorry, we didn't put you in the lineup every day. There was like 3 games in a row where Veen didn't even play. So like that's an issue. And then we're talking about this whole Amador thing. He has the best game of his young career yesterday, hits his first career home run, gets a stolen base, makes pretty good defensive plays yesterday. And Bud Black's, well, the schedule says we're putting Trejo in, or the schedule says we're putting Owen Miller in. And it's just like, why? Why? There's no reason to do this. If we're going to lose 150 games this year, Tom, which we're on pace to do, let's do it with these kids. Mm-hmm. I'm okay losing all these games as long as these guys are getting a chance to play, and they're just not getting it right now.
Okay. Real quick, we're just to let everyone know, we're going to quick pause. First of all, this is a very healthy conversation, I must say, and we appreciate all the comments. I marked the place real quick. We're just going to jump away from the comments and talk about this just for a second. We're just going to recap the series real quick. Just give us a moment, and then we'll come right back to all the comments. So just give me a moment real quick. So the first game, the Rockies ended up unfortunately losing 8-7. Again, that's a competitive finish. I mean, I know it doesn't make anybody feel better. Whether it's lost by 7 runs or lost by 1 run, it's unfortunate. Mm-hmm. But Kyle Freeland had a bit of a tough day, 4 1/3, giving up 6 earned runs. Chivivi pitched 2 innings, gave up 2 earned runs, but Alexander, Agnos, and Halverson came on to combine for 2 2/3 innings of scoreless baseball. But the player of this game, when it comes to it, was actually we should say 2 guys, because Jordan Beck had 2 home runs in this game. And this is the final game that capped off his 5 home runs in 48 hours. So that was awesome. Yep, we golf clap from Adam. We definitely congrats. We'll talk a little bit more about Jordan Beck in a second, because I really like what he's doing so far. And then, of course, Michael Toglia coming alive. He didn't have any home runs in this game, but Big Mike coming through with going 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs. So, two of the younger bats in particular came alive in this game. Adam, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it was great to see Toglia finally, and I like Toglia so much. He seems like such a great young guy, and he does so much for the community already, even as a young, hopefully budding superstar. And he has really, really struggled at the plate. And I think they've talked about it on the broadcast a few times, just over swinging all the time. Mm-hmm. And in this game, he was really under control. He took the ball to the opposite field. He looked really, really good. So and this is the kind of stuff we're talking about. This is what we want to see. I want to watch the young guys struggle, and then I want to watch the young guys, work out of it. And this is an example of it, where Toglia was 3 for 5, right, in that game. Mm-hmm. And he was just outstanding. And that's the kind of thing that is always encouraging to see. Of course, Jordan Beck, his OPS currently sits over 940, I think. So he had another 2 home runs, and it was just awesome to see stuff like that. And then Hunter Goodman, who's really come on recently, had a great game as well. I think he was 2 for 3 with a couple of walks. So, when you have these young guys finally starting to figure it out, it's exciting. And it was great to see that from the Rockies. And Zach Agnos looks really good so far too.
Yeah, real quick to your honorable mention, yes, Hunter Goodman had 2 walks, and Jordan Beck, I forgot, also had 2 walks to go with his 2 hits. So again, some of the bats came alive a little bit in this one. Again, we lost, but still, it was nice to see some of these young bats getting swung well. And to your point about Toglia, I do agree with you. I think to your point, he was swinging out of his shoes because he was trying to come up with that big hit and just really prove himself early in the season, I think. And, again, or maybe he's also trying to push for the home run derby. So we'll see about that. I don't know. Just a funny, man, who knows? Maybe Jordan Beck and Michael Toglia make the home run derby. Who knows?
Hey, something that Toglia could definitely win, in my opinion.
Or he at least make a run at the finals, I would agree.
100%. 100%.
And personally, I would think he'd bat from the left side in the derby and not the right side. I think he'd bat from the left side. I think. Yeah. Anyway, so let's move on to game 2. The Rockies unfortunately lost 6-4. The Rockies had a little bit of interest, made things interesting in the 9th inning. The Reds scored 2 in the top of the 9th, but the Rockies ended up scoring 1 and coming up just short of a comeback. The pitching was a little was in this game. Cincinnati going 5 innings pitch for 4 earned runs. Then you had Bird, Halverson, Kinley, and Hill to round things out. Kinley gave up 2 extra earned runs, but Jake Bird had a particularly good appearance. Specifically, he had 4 strikeouts and 2 innings pitched. But the big one, we had a couple of things. First of all, Goodman and Tolia had 2 hits in this game. I'll get to another particular individual specifically. Toglia had his second home run of the season, and that was a bomb. He absolutely got every bit. And the thing is, he hit it to center field, not to left, not to right. He didn't pull it almost straight away center. But he got every bit of that one.
Two hits again that day too.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, correct. But our player of the game was Dale Amador. 3 hits in this game. And, of course, his first career home run. It wasn't a true bomb, but he got a good solid swing on that one with the club head and just drove it over the right field wall. So, again, we'll get to our unfortunate anger, disdain with what happened in game 3 in regards to him. But, Adam, you were there. Go ahead, man. What did you think?
That home run was great to see because when Michael Toglia is using the whole field, just as any good hitter does, that he's on it, right? His swing is finally working out. He's taking the ball to all fields. His strength is taking care of itself. He's not overswinging, all that stuff. So that was great to see from Toglia. And I was at the game, so unfortunately I had to see those other Reds home runs fly right in front of my face. But, again, you have a game where Tolia is like starting to figure it out and he gets another couple hits. But Amador, man, not only did he get those 3 hits, but he had a stolen base and he played really solid defense, which I know he's a little bit of an adventure sometimes out at second base. But that's okay because he's developing as a young player. So something that I've noticed with these hitters is that they really struggle if it's not a fastball. They can hit fastballs, but if they get a slider or a splitter, like Hunter Green, I think had 8 strikeouts, and they were pretty much all on sliders and splitters, if I remember correctly. So that's something to watch with the Rockies. But something too with the Rockies is when they're aggressive early in the count, they have the most success. A lot of times you watch a Rockies game and these guys are like Brenton Doyle, and I love Brenton Doyle and I'm not trashing him. But sometimes he'll take that first pitch and he'll raise his arms for no reason. And it's like right down the middle. I'm like, maybe that's just a comfort thing for him. But it seems like when he's more aggressive than that, he actually has better success, like when he did against the A's that one day I went to that game as well. But the pitching, Senzatella, you can't have a contact pitcher at Coors Field that gives up home runs
or leaves pitches up in the zone.
Yeah, you can't. Like Aaron Cook, great guy to have at Coors Field. Back in the day, he was a contact pitcher, but the ball was hit on the ground. Okay, but Senzatella, almost everything is hit in the air against that guy, and I just don't know why the Rockies keep throwing him out there. He's been not very good this year. But big shout out, and Lux mentioned this too. Jake Bird getting out of it, bases loaded, nobody out jam, bringing his ERA to 1.08 on the season. He has been unhittable all season long. And last time I went to the game against the A's, he threw 2 innings and struck out like 5 guys. Like he has just been on point, man. And Halverson is a treat to watch in person too, throwing 101 miles an hour.
Yeah, definitely. And thank you for I forgot to bring this up in my synopsis, but yeah, both the home runs off Hunter Green, fastball or not, still it's one of the best pitchers in the young pitchers in the game. So absolutely, I guess so. Amador could definitely look back and say, "Hey, I got to hit. My first one was off that guy." But anyway, and Lux in the comments saying you're at the game. So again, Lux, thank you for coming. And everybody else, we'll get your comments, everyone else's comments in just a moment. First, let me just unfortunately go over the worst game of the series, which is Game 3 of the Rockies and losing 8-1. In other words, we lost by a touchdown. And the unfortunate part is in this game, Bradley Blaylock, 4 innings, 6 earned runs, and then we went to Herget, Agnos, and Alexander to front out the game in terms of pitching. there was not much action. The Rockies only had 3 hits in this game. The lone RBI was Jordan Beck, who, by the way, I got to say a comment. I like him hitting second. He's now raised his average to 261.
982 OPS. Sorry, that was
Correct.
my mistake.
That's
982.
no, that's okay. And again, so I do like him hitting in the 2-hole. He was sent down early in the season. Now that he's back up, he's definitely taking advantage of it. And it's like, who was it several years ago? Somebody, I can't remember. The name is slipping me, who was sent down, then he came back up and he came with a vengeance. Totally. Yeah, totally was kind of middling around back and forth in the minor leagues for so long. Now he's become a mainstay on this roster. So again, keep giving Jordan Beck a shot, especially considering left field is open, because I presume that's where they're mostly going to be playing him. So absolutely. And unfortunately 8-1 here. So Adam, what are your final thoughts on this game that we lost by a touchdown?
Yeah,
On Sunday too. On a Sunday too.
I am personally, Tom, I'm personally in shock that we only got 3 hits with the juggernaut lineup that was put together with Alan Trejo and Owen Miller and Jacob Stallings. Like, how do we not score more runs, when we do stuff like that? It's just insane what he's doing with these lineups. But again, Tolia, positives, right? He had a walk today. That's something that we're trying to get him to do more. He did not strike, or he struck out. No, he did not strike out. He did not strike out. So that's a huge positive. And again, the Jordan Beck thing, he continues to produce. He didn't produce a lot today, but driving in our only run is something that is a huge positive, in my opinion. But the other thing I want to say about the lineup construction is when Tovar does come back, don't move back out of the second spot. Okay, stop moving these young guys into different spots in the lineup. Let them get comfortable somewhere and let them stay there. Tovar could be used more in the middle of the lineup anyway, because my goodness, Ryan McMahon, what is going on with him, Tom?
I have to take a deeper dive as far as what his metrics are against fastballs and breaking balls. Maybe I'll do that before the next recap episode I'm on, but I don't know. I think he's got the golden sombrero twice this year already so far. I
believe you're correct.
Might be at least 2 times, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's got several other hat tricks. I have to check what his total strikeouts are, but I don't know. I wouldn't go so far. I don't know what it comes to as far as moving a guy down or not. I move him back to 5th and see to give him like a rest or something like that, or a break of some kind of whatever. And as Lux points on the comments about that, I don't know, but yeah, why should we talk about how bad McMahon is? But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I wish maybe, is he struggling with something mentally? Is there something going on in his personal life that's distracting him? Is he hurt? I don't know. I don't know.
I'm going to be careful with this because we love Ryan McMahon. He is a staple here. He is the veteran leader on the Rockies, but there has to be something going on because it's just not going right now, man. And when you get Tovar back, you got to put Tovar 3rd and Goodman 4th, I would think. And Tolia 5th and maybe McMahon 6th. Or maybe again, goes against my whole point with Beck. Maybe you switch Goodman or McMahon to 2nd and try to get him some protection. But I don't know, man. But he is just not Ryan McMahon right now. And this is a continuation, Tom, of what we talked about before the season. His second half was just not very good last year.
After the All-Star game, when he was an All-Star, he was our lone All-Star. He had a bit of a noticeable drop-off.
Yeah.
I really don't know. It's just, I hope everything is okay with him in terms of like his mind, his personal life, his body. Again, as you point out, he is one of our stable veterans. With Charlie Blackmon gone, you could say the guy is the veteran of the year of the team, I suppose, or one of the voices in that room. So I don't know. Again, Ryan, if you hear our words, we wish you the best. We really hope you're doing okay as far as things go. We're with you.
There's something wrong there. I don't know what it is, but this is not Ryan McMahon. And he's not at that age where he would just start declining out of nowhere either. No. So, and we really, really need him. I mean, if we're going to have any hope of being somewhat competitive, we got to have him producing, man, especially at Coors Field. And it's just not happening right now.
Because you could say he's in the prime years of his career. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. Anyway, let's get back to some of the comments we are talking about. So
Sure.
don't worry, everyone. I marked our place as far as it goes. Rhino added the comment, although we were talking about Dick Mumford, although he spends money, he doesn't have smart baseball people making good decisions. Rockies have the smallest analytics department. So in two-part, I'll give my thoughts on that question. It is true. The Rockies have one of, if not the smallest analytics department in baseball. Somebody, I think it might have been Jay Kuda, who's a great follow on X. If you don't follow him, I follow him on X. Jay Kuda, great follow. Follow him on X if you don't. I think it was him. He put out a graph about who has, like, of all the teams in terms of the size ranking of their analytics department, the Rockies were basically in dead last, I think it was. So yeah, to your point, they need to, I think also recently on Foul Territory, Jim Bowden, who is a former Major League GM for several years, he commented that they're behind what other teams are doing as far as modern ways to run the team and develop players. And to the first part of your question, yeah, Monfort spends money, but again, you got to to your point earlier, Adam, you got to let baseball people, you hire baseball people to make baseball decisions, and the owner should, stick his beak out of it. Granted, it is your team, you make the decisions, but you got to let the people you hire to do their job.
And it can't be your friend.
Nope.
It's got to be like, go, and I've said this several times, go to the Rays and throw a bag at somebody in that front office, please. Or the Guardians, or who else, Tom, who's kind of similar, the Brewers even.
Yeah, because David Stearns, he was a fantastic GM for several years. Now he's doing a pretty good job at the Mets.
Yeah, it's like, just go to a similar type of organization that isn't like a big high roller, high spender, but like kind of a pretty good team on a regular basis that develops young talent. Go get us somebody like that and bring him into the Rockies and let him run the show.
Yeah, like, don't go ahead. Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
No, it's okay. Hey, go ahead.
No, that's right. Finish your thought. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, we need to stop this whole, and I said this earlier because there weren't as many people on, the circle of trust thing. Like, stop it. We're not interested in your family reunion, friendship, nepotism, whatever it is that we want to call it, right? We are interested in winning baseball games. We want to win games.
We want rings.
We want rings. We want to keep Brenton Doyle here. You think Brenton Doyle wants to stay here with this crap? No, of course not.
No, also
get it together, man.
No, I can also use the White Sox as another example. They have a problem with being insular and promoting from within. What if I would, again, I think you and I are on the same page of this as far as when it goes. If we bought the team, I would be afraid to go out, interview as many people from other teams I can. If I don't hire them, get ideas. Okay, you're doing this, you're doing that. You guys implemented this. This is how it's working for you. Get as many ideas as you can, interview as many candidates. And ultimately, don't be afraid to pay, top dollar for a guy who has a good resume from, as you point, a team that may not have the deep pockets, but knows how to implement processes and procedures that work.
Yes. Like, if I was building the Rockies, and I'm sure this is a thing for another podcast another time, Tom, sure. I would focus on guys who can steal bases. I would focus on guys who can hit gap to gap. I don't care if you have power or not. The grass is huge at Coors Field. Just get guys that hit doubles. We would score so many runs. You got your guy in center field. You need a guy that can patrol center field because it is massive at Coors Field.
Yeah, so Brenton Doyle, you want a guy like a Brenton Doyle, or
Brenton Doyle,
or Dexter Fowler.
Yeah, Dexter Fowler was great here too. We've got the guy. Build around the guy. Okay, put speed in speed positions, and put power maybe at first and third. And other than that, you got guys that make contact and guys that steal bases.
Yeah, to your point, the idea, again, your coaching background definitely agrees with me on my philosophies. I feel that the unfortunate part is there's too much emphasis in lineups on power. You want guys who can hit for a high batting average, but at the same time draw a decent amount of walks, or also guys who aren't afraid to steal bases. It's a lost art because, again, Stolen bases can lead to more runs because going from first to second, the runner's not in scoring position. Or also, you want guys who aren't afraid to hit one to the right side, move the runner over from second to third, get that situational hit. And as you pointed, not swing out of your shoes on every pitch as if you're trying to chop the tree down.
Yeah, well, and the Rockies, if they would play Veen and Amador, that's 4 guys in that lineup: Doyle, Beck, Veen, Amador, that can all steal bases.
Yeah.
So, they have the player there. Tovar steals bases too. Like, I just don't understand what kind of team they're trying to build and why they don't try to use the huge outfield to their advantage at Coors Field.
Yeah. And moving on to Cole's comment, why does it seem that MLB wants only a few teams to have all the good players? Well, that's not MLB's wants that. The only problem is certain teams around baseball aren't afraid to open their wallets. Again, I know it may seem that way, but unfortunately, when there are teams who are willing to open their wallets to sign all those top tier players, I mean, it is extremely frustrating that the Dodgers aren't afraid to defer money and sign these players, or the Yankees aren't afraid to do something similar. Or unfortunately, we don't have a guy like Steve Cohen who's worth what is
bottomless pit.
I think he's worth $13 billion. I can't remember what his exact net worth is, but he again is not afraid to shovel out money for top tier talent. Dick Monfort has shown he's not afraid to sign players, but unfortunately, when he signed the right player who we wanted, that player wanted his way out. And we don't have to get into the past here, but it is unfortunate. That's why I think, Cole, to your comment, we were talking about this earlier. There needs to be some address with a competitive balance among teams. There is a competition committee in Major League Baseball. I don't know what their meetings are like or what specifically they talk about, but there has to be some way to kind of force teams to stop with this rebuild stuff or continuously doing the cycle and just try to sustain your success. Again, Adam, what are your thoughts? I think you and I have similar thoughts on this.
Yeah, we're on the same page, honestly. It's just so frustrating to talk about this sometimes over and over again,
Okay, I know. Okay, well,
no, I'm not saying anything to you, Tom. It's just
no. Yeah, I know we just don't want to keep talking about the same thing over and over again.
Yeah,
that's kind of what
it's just crazy, man, at this point.
And Rhino, to your comment, I can tell you for a fact Clint Hurdle wants the job. Well, it wouldn't surprise me if Clint Hurdle wants to manage again, but for the life of me, I hope he does not get it.
That's not what we need. And I don't think it's too much of an ask to say, hey, Rockies, bring up one of your minor league guys that have been manager of the year recently and let them manage the Rockies because, it's really frustrating to see the Avalanche, shout out Avalanche, by the way, completely dominated the Stars last night. And the Nuggets, shout out Nuggets, because they won a playoff game as well on the road, huge win. The Broncos, they made the playoffs. They are like one of the top 5 or 10 franchises in NFL history, right? You've got all this success here. You've got MVPs at Ball Arena with Jokic and McKinnon. And then there's the Rockies. It's just crazy. What the way that the difference between those 3 teams and the Rockies and the way they ran, it's just absolutely insane. I mean, the Nuggets just fired their head coach who won the only championship in franchise history because the team wasn't doing good enough this year. And Bud Black has never done anything close to that, and he still has a job, which is just insane. It just shows you that Kroenke, they want to win. Josh and Stan, they want to win games, they want to win championships, and then the Rockies are just like, well, Bud's our friend, so we can't fire him.
Yeah, it seems like, when you put it that way, it's if the Rockies are the team in town that's okay with the status quo, and I'm throwing up the air quotes here for those who aren't watching the live stream.
100%. It's true. It's true.
Yeah, I mean, when something is broken, which clearly the Rockies' processes or how they're doing things is broken, you fix it. Simple as that. And if you really only if you care, that is, which we can debate the caring and everything like that.
I can tell you that I care a whole lot more than anybody in that front office because it's pretty clear.
I think you, Steven, and everybody else in this chat would care a hell of a lot more too.
Yeah. Like, let us run the team for a month, dude, and see how much better they would play.
They should have a fans committee of select certain, and we should have a seat at that table right there, and then I'm sure we would have some ideas as far as how things should go.
Yeah, I'm sure I could find a way to be cordial with Dick if he let us in on stuff like that. Sure. Yeah.
No, we keep it calm and cool, but we be direct.
Yes. Be like, hey, Amador's in the lineup every day. Hey, Zach Veen is in the lineup every day. Period. I don't care if it's a lefty, a righty, a guy who throws with both hands. I don't care. Put those guys in the lineup and keep them there.
Yeah, I agree. And Lux points out, the Diamondbacks, they have a tendency to spend some good money. Yeah, Zach Greinke was a big signing. Recently, Corbin Burns was a big signing, which I really hope that works out well because I like Corbin Burns. I think he's one of my favorite pitchers in baseball today, so I hope it works out for him. Again, I don't want to see the D-backs succeed too much, but I'd rather see them succeed over the Dodgers. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. I don't like the Diamondbacks, but yes.
Randy Johnson's my favorite pitcher of all time, and what he did for them was insanity. So that's my thing on that one. And Lux, you point out, Rockies don't steal as much as they should. I would love to see some guys get the green light more. If you can time the pitchers move, I would take off. So, but yeah.
Yeah, Beck, Veen when he comes back, Amador, Doyle, all those guys should be stealing all the time.
Yeah. And Rhino, Rhino, I think definitely is integrated. We all care a lot more about the team. Of course we do. We as fans have poured our heart and soul and our hard-earned money to go not only pay to watch on TV with cable rights, but also to go to Coors Field to enjoy the game. So no argument there.
And like I said, I bought the whole City Connect line, Mr. Monfort. I bought the whole thing, dude. I bought every hat. I bought the socks, the jersey, 2 hoodies. Like, give me something, man. Give me something in return. Give us something in return.
Give us back the magic of the late 2005 to 2010. Give us that magic.
Yeah, well, I mean, when somebody said it too, I think it was on one of our posts earlier, Tom. Yeah. At least back in the older days, the Rockies were entertaining. They were fun to watch. Now they're just bad and not entertaining at all.
Because we had some guys support, again, Blake Street Bombers, and we had guys we could give nicknames to, or Todd Helton, the Todd father, or everything like that, or Charlie Blackmon, Chuck. We have guys we could rally behind. Nowadays, it just doesn't seem like we can have those guys much anymore.
No, and it's not Brenton Doyle and Ezekiel Tovar's fault that they're the only 2 guys that consistently produce in the lineup. We're not saying that they have to shoulder the load or anything like that, but we had LeMahieu and Story and Arenado and Carlos Gonzalez, and like that was so fun. At least when you went to Coors Field, you're like, this team is going to hit bombs, and this team is going to be hard to beat at Coors Field. And now you go to Coors Field, and it's just like, there's really just nothing there, unfortunately, and it's sad.
Charlie Blackmon, DJ, and then Nolan, Trevor Story.
And Charlie too. Yeah,
that was arguably one of the best front 4 in all of baseball.
100%. Yep. And David Dahl, when he was on for us.
Yeah, he was an all-star in 2019.
He was an all-star. Yep.
Unfortunately, his career has derailed because of injuries, but he was fantastic for us. And real quick, other thing, get to the comments. Rhino, they spend money on the wrong guys. They outbid themselves for KB. I don't think we need to harken back on that one. We know here at Rockies now, the 3 of us, I think, would arguably agree that was a Dick Monfort signing. He forced Bill Schmidt to make that move. When it's just we don't need to harken back on that.
No, yeah, of course not.
But and also Adam, Rhino definitely has it on with you. He also bought all the City Connect gear too. So Rhino,
right on, Rhino, my guy, dude. It's the colors are so cool.
It's a different. I like the different shade of purple. I do like it.
My only thing, and this is the last thing I'll say about that. I wanted to get a Doyle. I'm not sure Doyle's gonna want to stay here for a long term, so I just got my own name. And that's the only reason I did it, because I love Brenton Doyle and I want him to be here for his entire career. But I just, why? What do you want to?
Well, I mean, I would say we have 2 years more tops to instill confidence in him to make him want to stay. But that's a whole, separate debate.
Yeah, No worries. We're guys here. No worries.
And also, Bryce agrees with us. You're right. Win or lose with these young guys. And Rhino also says it too. Win or lose with the young guys. Again, yes, as we pointed out, Amador went 3 for 4 in game 3 with his first career home run, and he didn't play it, and he didn't play today. So let's go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, at the end of this season, Tom, this lineup better be Beck in left, Doyle in center, Veen in right, Tolia at first, Amador at second, Tovar at short, and either Goodman or Romo at catcher, right? Sure. And then no one else except for Yanquiel Fernandez as the DH. That is exactly what this lineup should look like by the end of the year. And if Ryan McMahon, hopefully he starts getting together. Maybe he ends up on the IL or something because something's going on. But obviously he would be in the lineup too. But this whole Martini, Farmer, Miller, Trejo thing, it needs to stop. It needs to stop. Those guys can play on Sunday or something on the last day of the week, last game of a series, sure. But other than that, you need to put the guys in that are building towards the future. And I think Bud Black probably is just like, well, I'm not going to be here, so I don't care. I'm just trying to win games. And that's the wrong mentality, and that's why he shouldn't be here.
Right. No, I don't disagree with you at all.
Oh, yeah, Kyle Karros should be at third base by the end of the year. Good. That's a good point.
Yeah, Rhino in the comments. Yeah, Karros is definitely a contender. I know there's probably some people who would throw back at us and say, Charlie Condon, He's not ready, folks. Pump the brakes, folks. He's not ready. He's in the low levels of the minor leagues. Let's pump the brakes here on Charlie Condon.
It's not even healthy.
Yeah, correct. Exactly. Let's slow our roll on that one there, right there. Let's give him time. Let the guy adjust to swinging a wood bat over an aluminum bat first. Let's worry about that.
Yeah, and I hope too, Tom, to your point, bringing up Condon, I hope guys like that see what's going on at the major league level, and their attitude is more, I can't wait to get up there and help these guys win games, rather than I can't believe I'm in this organization. Because I wouldn't blame some guys if they thought that, to be honest with you.
I don't disagree with you on that. So it is what it is. Real quick. Sorry, excuse me there. Again, thank you to everybody for all the comments. You got a lot of fantastic comments from all of you, and to all the people who have joined in this live. There's a lot of you in here. We appreciate it. But real quick, we're going to deviate to wind down the episode here. We're going to real quick go over. I'm just going to briefly recap the standings here. Right now in the NOS after this weekend, the Giants sit in first at 19-10. The Los Angeles Dodgers sit behind them at 18-10. And then the Padres are sitting in third place at 17-11. The Diamondbacks are 15-13 in fourth place. They are 3.5 games out, so that's how much it separates fourth place from the division lead right now. And us, Rockies, we are back in fourth, 14 games out at 4-23. So, and we have a run differential of -69. Ha ha ha. So I just got to say one thing about that. Again, going back to our season predictions, I predicted the Giants to finish our fearless leader saying, let me put that back up. Hold on one second. Our fearless leader, Steven, chiming in. Great episode, fellas. Thank you, fearless leader. We appreciate it. We appreciate you always as guiding us through our journey on this ride that we're currently on in life. So thank you. Anyway, I gotta say one thing, Adam, is just I don't know if this lasts the whole season. I predicted the Giants to finish fifth in the division. I thought we were going to overtake them. They're surprising me. What are your thoughts on that? I just like to know your thoughts on what you think of, because the Dodgers are still up there, but they're on a skid right now. So, but again, it's early in the year. So,
yeah, I mean, the Giants are scoring runs. Matt Chapman is hitting tanks. So they are certainly a surprise. I don't think it's sustainable, but I would love for anybody except for the Dodgers to win this division. So I would say that this is more than okay. And if it sustains itself, that would be awesome. My predictions have been atrocious. I had the Rockies finishing second to the Dodgers in the division because I was way too excited about this team. I thought we were going to have Nolan Jones. I thought McMahon would be better. It just has not happened. I thought Veen would come up and get a chance to play, all that stuff. But the Giants, we're rooting for you, I guess, to overtake the Dodgers. Why not?
Well, one can only hope that maybe somebody other than the Dodgers wins this division, but we're just going to not hold our breath just yet on that one.
Yeah, the Rockies are only 14 games back, guys. So I think the Dodgers have walked right into the Rockies trap at this point.
We're not mathematically eliminated. Ha ha ha. Yeah, it's just, or wait, somebody did post at the beginning before the season even started, White Sox already that eliminated thing, that they posted. Somebody already did that. So I'm not surprised somebody, at least I haven't seen the Rockies one yet. So we'll see. Anywho. Anyway, so real quick, just going over the upcoming series. The Atlanta Braves are coming to a town for a 3-game series on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
They are. And they've won 3 in a row, right?
And who thought they would be completely donezo? They're slow. They're kind of even again. Spencer Strider is back on the IL. They're still, and they don't have Acuna back. They're still kind of crawling out of that little hole they dug themselves. So we'll see if they can climb all the way out of the hole. Just got to wait and see there.
Yeah.
But anyway, game 1 pitching matchup is going to be Elder for the Braves going up against Ryan Feltner for our Colorado Rockies. On Tuesday's game, it's to be determined for the Atlanta Braves. Herman Marquez goes to the bump for us. And then in the finale, it is my favorite pitcher in the game today, Chris Sale, going up against our top young arm, Chase Dollander. I don't know. Like, as you pointed out, the Braves are on a bit of a run here. They're definitely coming in hot. I'm keeping my expectations low for us. The pitching, I'm looking forward to the finale because, again, it's my favorite pitcher, Chris Sale, matching up against our top young arm. I'm interested to see not only how Sale pitches at Mile High, but how Dollander does being squaring off against the reigning NL Cy Young winner. Adam, what do you think? Are you looking forward to anything in this series? Are you, other than, of course, hoping the kids play every day, what else are you looking forward to?
Yeah, no, I'm with you on the Dollander thing. I think it's great for his development to face off against one of the best pitchers in the entire league. Let's see what he's made of, Let's see if he steps up to the plate and is able to go toe for toe with Chris Sale, because I think that the Rockies, based on the way they've produced offense this year, are probably going to struggle mightily against Chris Sale. So Dollander's going to have to keep it, to 1 or 2 runs probably through 6 innings. But he can do that. He's done it before. Mm-hmm. He shut down arguably, in my opinion anyway, better offense in San Diego, although that was on the road. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And then I'm just looking forward to seeing that, Beck continue on his trajectory. He's really improved in the last week. And we see what confidence does for a young player, right? He's taken that first home run and turned it into, this hot streak. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm really hoping that Tolia continues to have good at-bats. And of course, we know that Brenton Doyle is going to turn it around at some point too. So I think the Rockies are going to are going to hopefully be a little bit more competitive in this series. We'll see though.
Real quick, I just want to shout out a couple more comments before we wrap this up. Lux, thank you for your kind words. Listening to Rockies recap series, much better than watching the actual series. So, Lux, thank you so much. We're here because we do this. We're here because we love to do this. We are fans and we love giving you guys our content, our opinions. We really appreciate you guys listening. Again, we love your participation. We love you guys listening to us. We're here to try and keep positive words, but at the same time, try to deliver you guys the truth. We want to be truthful and give you our honest takes on this. That's why, and we love you guys for tuning in. So thank you.
We're not giving up, Tom, right? If the Rockies go 4-158, we're going to be here covering the team. It doesn't matter. We're fans. We love the team, and we're going to be here with you guys struggling it along, because one day, Tom, and everybody listening, there will be better days.
And of course, I'd like to point out our fearless leader says, Lux, don't get us emotional now. Always. And Lux, last thing I want to point out the comment. Tom low-key looks like Chris Sale a little. So it's just to kind of give you a point on that. Chris Sale is about 6'5", and he's a tall, lanky guy. I am 6'3", and I'm a tall, lanky guy. So if you saw me in person, you could think I kind of look like Chris Sale. I also was a pitcher back in my baseball days, so I didn't have quite the slider Chris Sale did, but I had a decent, formidable changeup. I'll say that.
You do kind of look like Chris Sale. That's crazy.
I do appreciate the kind words that I'm compared to not only one of the best pitchers in the game, but one of my favorites of all time. So thank you so much for the kind words, everybody. And also, And let's chime in. Our guy Patrick chiming in. Rockies will get no hit by TBD. It's just meant to be. So, well, that's all. Well, maybe who knows? Maybe it's like it be kind of even though he's on the IL, he won't pop out. Maybe we get the Stone Cold Glass Shatters music and it's Spencer Strider walking out of the bullpen or something like that, or like whatever. But anyway, it's we'll have to wait and see how that goes. When it comes to Chris Sale, I'm looking forward to seeing how I hope Amador and Tole are in the lineup batting from the right side so they get a look at what it's like to pitch against one of the best lefties in baseball. Give him the chance.
Please. Yeah.
Again, Chris Sale's slider can fool you, but let him see it. Let him get a chance to see it.
So, let them see everybody. Stop the foolishness.
Anyway, so okay, well, I think that's going to about do. Adam, any final thoughts? You got to go, even though we've said plenty at this point.
Yeah, no, another shout out to everybody. We've got a large amount of people watching this podcast, and we obviously wouldn't be anything without you guys. We always have you guys in mind, and we try to interact with you as much as possible. I know a few of you guys send me direct messages. I talk to you guys all the time. Feel free to follow us and talk to us, man. We're just people like you. We're fans. We love the team. We want better for all of us, right? And like I said, we're gonna be here all season, next season, all the seasons, no matter how bad the Rockies are, because we're here for you guys.
Yeah, guys, we appreciate each and every one of you, whether you leave a positive comment, a negative comment. We welcome one, come all. We're here for you. We're here because we love this and we do this for you guys. We appreciate everything you guys do as our fans and followers. Thank you so much. And again, as Adam points out, we do have Instagram, Twitter/X, and our Threads page, Fleece Pot. And of course, Adam, my personal tagline are right just down over here, below at the bottom of your screen, right here in the corner. So please feel free to give us a follow. Or as Adam says, we love talking baseball privately as well. Well, that's gonna do it for this episode of the Rockies Recap. So once again, everyone, on the Sunday night, thank you so much to all of you for tuning in and listening. And as always, go Rockies.